Guys, let's get to Torvik player projections. All right, so Torvik has done this interesting thing. Got these numbers. I didn't even know they were out there. I saw Sleepers did some episodes on it, so I thought, why not just compile them all together and put them with the Big Ten? So we're gonna go week by week and look at like the projected assist leaders, projected rebound leaders, stuff like that. So we'll start with points per game. Here we have Payton Sandfort, Dawson Garcia, Brice Williams, Ace Bailey, Great Osabor, the $2 million man, Malik Reneau, Bruce Thornton, Brooks Barnhizer, there's your guy, Kent, Julian Reese, and Ace Baldwin Jr. Kent, we'll give you for a shot on this one, man. I mean, what overall, just like, what's your thoughts here? What players are, let's start with this way. What players are too low, and are there any players that you feel like should be in the top 10 that maybe are not?
Let's see. Well, first of all, Shaps, I saw you shaking your head about Brooks Barnhizer. He was on the show before. He's a good guy. We love Brooks.
I saw. That's why I didn't come back on the show for this long.
Oh, was it? You're not a big Brooksy fan?
No, I actually am indifferent for him. It's kind of an inside joke with the Javamen of just like this guy kind of just popping up on your screen, terrorizing other Big Ten teams.
Oh, man.
And it just makes no sense.
I'm glad to see him in the top 10 right here, though. And I think that, not to just keep talking about Brooks, but I think that that's a good spot for him because he's going to have to carry quite a load for them this year, I think, depending on, how some guys recover from injuries and whatnot. But, I think this is pretty accurate. I think that probably a guy that I would say is too high right now is Malik Reneau. And I only say that because he's going to have so much help around him. I don't think he's going to, I don't know, 16 is a lot, so I don't know if he'll be that high, but I don't know. I think when I looked at this list, I was like, this seems about right. And I don't really have a ton of issues with it right now.
I wonder about Julian Reese, what he's going to do. Is he going to be a 16 point per game scorer, or is he going to be much lower than that? I
think he has to be, though, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think he has to be, but I don't know if Kevin Woolard is going to let him be that. I don't know.
He'd have to get a lot more consistent, and that's always been his issue, is he just doesn't show up for some games.
If he doesn't average 16, though, they're as a team, they're going to be under 50 per game, I think. He has to get 6. He's got to score 20.
Well, they got Queen. And, who's the transfer guard they brought in? Gillespie? But he's no Jameer Young, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have much issue with the top of the list. I mean, Payton Sandfort probably will be near the top just because he's in Iowa's offense and he gets the majority of their shots. So not surprised there. If Ace Bailey scores 17 points a game for Rutgers, he'd probably be like a top 5 draft pick if he manages to do that. That would be very impressive as a freshman to come in like that.
I think he's already projected to be a top 5 pick at this moment, though, isn't he?
I don't know.
I think both those guys, I think both Ace and Dylan are projected to be top 5 picks, which, by the way, I got called out for this. I just found out 2 weeks ago that Ace Bailey's real first name is Arius. And everyone, when I posted that on Twitter, everyone acted like I was the idiot for not knowing that. Did you guys know this?
I mean, I figured it was short for something, but, when I hear Ace, I don't think, what's it short for? I just think.
Could you imagine, your name is Arius? He could have went by Air Bailey instead. That would have been way better.
Well, what's Ace Baldwin's real name? You got 2 aces in the top 10.
Let me look it up.
You got a pair of aces.
We got a pair of aces. That's a good start.
This is the money conference. Adrian Tyrone Bailey.
Do you think that having 2 aces is too many? It's almost like a full house of aces?
Yeah, it could be a problem in the Big Ten. Ace came in, thought he was the top ace. Now this Bailey kid comes in, might take the crown. will be interesting storyline to follow for sure
Yeah,
throughout the
well,
season.
I'll keep tabs on it. I'll keep you guys posted, okay?
Yeah, we'll keep an Ace power ranking throughout the year. Follow Casual Big Ten
Yeah.
for that.
I have a conspiracy theory I've not voiced on this podcast yet, because I don't know what the fans will think of it. But my theory is that Steve Peichel accidentally recruited Ace Bailey, and he thought he was recruiting Ace Baldwin Jr. because Ace Baldwin Jr. was Defensive Player of the Year, and Steve Peichel was like, "We got to get this guy to come to Rutgers." Can you imagine what our defense would be like if we got him to come to Rutgers? And so
Oh,
he was calling Ace Bailey all this time, like, "Oh yeah, man, we're gonna get the Defensive Player of the Year." And then he finally shows up because he doesn't drive to the recruit's house. He just shows up and he's like, "Oh, you're not Ace Baldwin Jr." But in his mind, he's like, "But this is the number one player in the country, or number two player in the country. I don't remember who's number one and two." He was like, "But I can't get rid of Ace Bailey if he's the number 2 or 3 player in the country." And so
No.
he just kind of rolled with it. And then now he's like, "I just lucked into a number 2, 3 player in the country because I thought I was recruiting the Big Ten Player of the Year to transfer to my school." I don't know. That's just my theory.
I
Could be
hope
wrong.
that's not true, and if it is true, I would like to redact everything I said about him last week, and I want to put him at the top of the hot seat power rankings for messing up that badly.
Well, don't worry. We have some coach rankings today that do not reflect highly on Steve Peichel. So he continues to be not thought of very well. All right, Shaps. You were talking about some players that could possibly be. Where's my notes at here? You were talking about some players that could possibly be a little too low and stuff like that. Who's too high here? Like Brice Williams to me seems like a little high. I don't know. Nebraska definitely needs the scoring from him. Talked about Ace Bailey, 17 points a year. Is there anybody else that's like too high? You think somebody else is going to come in and maybe take their spot or something like that?
Yeah, you just think about like what competition these guys have. On Nebraska, I mean, we know who was disrespected on this list. You have to go way, way down to number 105 to find our guy Sam Hoiberg on the Torvik list, which I don't understand. I think he's going to take a massive leap this year.
We might as well throw the whole list away now that because I didn't scroll that far, so I think the whole thing is null and void at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I scrolled. Yeah, I scrolled. Way down there, Sam Hoiberg. Cam Heide was down at number 99, which I thought was kind of interesting because of all the hype that is kind of gone into him, like at the end of last season and this off season, where he could be like probably the second best player on Purdue.
He could be. Okay, I gotta say something about this because I've been hearing about this dude way too much. Are we hyping him up too much though?
He had a really cool dunk in the national.
I know that's
game.
all I ever hear about is the dunk, and it was a great dunk. I get it, but like
he can dunk. Yeah,
it was in a. I don't know, man. How's he on the team all year? And like I don't hear like hardly a peep from him until the national championship game because of a highlight dunk. And now all of a sudden he's going to be like, I don't know. I think it's an appropriate ranking for him. I'm not trying to be too harsh on the kid, but like he hasn't done anything yet. Like maybe he didn't have the opportunity last year and maybe he is going to be great. But based on what has happened in the past and, he hasn't done anything. So I think it's an appropriate ranking for him. Not to push back on it too much, Chaps, but.
Hey, I'm just going off, what's coming out of West Lafayette.
No, for sure. I agree with you. Like, I've heard so much about him. So, like, I agree that, if you just take what people are saying about him, he should be, like, top 10, maybe. He should be in the top 25 for sure. But, like,
yeah,
there's no reasoning behind it, really, other than the dunk. And maybe a couple of highlight videos that they posted on Twitter. But, again, maybe I'm being too harsh on Purdue and Cam Heide. He could be great.
Probably not. But if he doesn't take a huge leap, I would have huge concerns about Purdue competing at the top of the Big Ten. I'll say that. One of those guys has to be great for them.
Oh,
one of those wing
wing
guys. Yeah. Steven Krall was listed. He's probably just off of like the top 10, but he was listed as the leading scorer for Wisconsin.
It better be Max Klesman.
That would make me very nervous as a Wisconsin fan.
Yeah.
And then obviously the most glaring thing for me is you got to go pretty far down the list to find an Illini. Not surprising at all. I think the top scorer listed was Kylan Boswell. I don't think Kylan Boswell will be the leading scorer, but he has the most, for Torvik reasons, he's got the most data, behind him. He definitely could be. He'll probably be one of the leading scorers. He'll have the ball in his hands a lot, but he's not going to be needing to score as much. And I don't think there will be as much pressure on him to be scoring the basketball, but he'll still get his. It's more like they don't really know where to slot the freshmen and the European guys that are coming in. Because I think Ben Hummerkaus is way too low. I think he'll be one of the leading scorers. And Kasparis Yakusionis. I think impressive. I nailed that. Yeah. Shout out Java Jubes. He's always on top of the pronunciations. But I think he'll be one of the leading scorers on the team, based on the fact that he'll probably be a first round draft pick as well next year in the NBA. So it will be interesting to see. I think Illinois could have, 4 scorers in double digits easily. And, and the other thing on the list that I noticed was behind Boswell, the next Illinois player was Ty Rodgers. I can pretty much guarantee you Ty Rodgers won't be the number 2 scorer on Illinois. And I love Ty, but that's
not his role.
That's not his role. Yeah. You're not going to be asking a lot of him offensively.
I couldn't agree more. I think you hit it on the head with Illinois. They have to have 3 players, possibly, maybe 1 player right on that line there, scoring double digits this season in order for them to accomplish what they want to accomplish. Because, that's the way this team is built. You don't necessarily have a star like a Terrence Shannon Jr. or somebody like that that can score 20 plus and just kind of take the team with them. So, Kent, I have Parker Fox numbers, but before I get to that, I just need to say something really fast, okay? So I know there's not a ton of Ohio State fans out there, and I get it, but I just need to make this comment really fast. If Evan Mahaffey outscores Devin Royal this season, I will punch myself in the face so many times. I will come on here with 2 just bruised up eyes. Like I will be so upset if Evan Mahaffey, if he outscores Devin Royal this season, I might quit the podcast. Kent, you might have to take it over for the
write
future.
That down.
I got you. Yeah, I got you, man.
I said
Whatever
might
I
on that. I stand by the punching myself in the face. I don't know if I can give up the podcast, but I just might. Kent, Parker Fox, he is in the top 100. So that's pretty cool at 6.4 points per game. You think your boy Parker Fox is going to get that many points?
Well, first of all, I'm confused about why you sound surprised about that. Him being in the top 100. That's what I need to know about first is like,
I didn't sound
obviously
surprised.
He's top 100. Like
I just said he's top 100.
Yeah, like he should be. No,
I just Googled who the hell is Parker Fox.
You Googled, that's what you typed in, who the hell is Parker Fox?
Yeah, and so if you're listening to the show like me, Parker Fox is apparently on Minnesota.
Yes. He's not apparently there. He's there heavy.
Allegedly on Minnesota.
He's there heavy. He's a good friend of mine, and I can confidently say that now that we've met in person. And he said he appreciates all that I do for his brand. So he didn't really say his brand. I'm just kidding. He wouldn't say some stuff like that. No, obviously, I think that he's going to get more playing time this year if he can stay healthy. I mean, the guy's getting a little bit older for real, though. So, like, I don't know how many minutes he can actually provide. I think he's like 26 now. So he's been in college basketball for a long time. And Minnesota's in a massive rebuild right now. So, like, I don't know how many minutes they're going to actually give him because he won't be there the next year for sure. And he's just a great guy to have around, though, still. And speaking of highlight dunks, Parker Fox, I'll put him up against Cam Heide any day when it comes to the highlight reel for sure. His dunks are way better, and he has way, way, way more of them. So if we're just going to talk about guys that are going to be, that can give you a highlight dunk and they're going to be productive next year, Parker Fox is going to be the best player in the Big Ten for sure.
Well, he has to do it in the national championship game.
Oh, that's going to be a problem for Minnesota.
Yeah.
He was.
That's going to be an issue.
He was academic All Big Ten last year. And he was Minnesota's Big Ten Sportsmanship Award honoree. So he's got that going for him.
He was also on when I was doing my podcast. I could start my podcast back up tomorrow, but he came on my show. Super nice guy. Linked up with him at the Big Ten tournament this year for real. And again, also very nice guy. Gave me some inside information about like what was going on during their tournament game with Michigan State. So just a really cool dude. And I'm glad he's still at Minnesota. And like me and JR were pulling for Minnesota all year. So to have that guy, like just even talking to us was pretty fun. So I love him. He's a great guy.
He was probably shocked that somebody recognized him.
He shouldn't. He. I don't know, man. I'm being serious about his highlight reel though. Like he actually had some punishing dunks last year in games, but nobody watches Minnesota though, so they don't know.
Yeah, you made the highlight reel.
I actually did make him a highlight tape to get him to come back.
There you go.
I actually did. It's on YouTube. Go check out my YouTube page. It's on there. It's a good video, by the way.
I'm sure it's great. He's probably not coming on if I'm on the show. So.
No, he's
Parker
coming
Fox
back.
can know how much we appreciate him because we've talked about him for like 4 minutes on the show and lost like 6 viewers in that time span. So we're gonna move
there you go.
Let's get him on. I bet he'll come on next week, JR. You want me to ask him to come on, JR?
What'd you say?
I said I bet I can get him to come on next week. You want to see if he's busy next Wednesday?
Sure, bring him on. I'd love that.
Let's get him and Shaps on there and be like, "Here, Shaps, this is Parker Fox. Say hello to Parker."